On this episode of China Uncensored, high-speed rail or high-speed fail. Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. Forget planes. Trains are the future. I mean, think about it. Would you rather sit in some whirly-bird death trap or ride in luxury to your destination, gliding along the countryside in only double the amount of time it would take you to fly there? Well, dreams come true. And China is the little engine that could. Just a few short years ago, China's high-speed rails seemed poised to take over the world. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone wanted a piece of it. U.S. officials like former Chicago Mayor Richard Daley would visit China and practically drool all over that sleek, shiny efficiency of the Chinese system. Daley said he was envious of all the progress China has made and praised their willingness to do it. Yes, we all admire that can-do attitude you can only get in a totalitarian state that doesn't have to deal with objections from, the people who currently live on the land you want to plow a 220-mile-per-hour train through. They're just looking to the future, right, Mayor Daley? Even former Terminator and Governor of California Arnold Schwarzenegger wanted in. I mean, you can't be a running man forever. Well, all that ended, sadly, after the 2011 high-speed rail crash in Wenzhou, coupled with a hasty attempt to literally bury the evidence. Apparently people were upset by that. That's why the party doesn't like to listen to them in the first place. But it also shone a spotlight on the vast network of high-speed corruption operated by China's railway ministry. They ran the railways and were responsible for regulating them, meaning it regulated itself. And we all know how well that works. It even had its own police force and was a huge base of power for those involved, like former Railways Minister Liu Zhijun. That is until he was arrested in 2011 following the train crash and was given a suspended death sentence in 2013 for taking $10 million in bribes. The Railways Ministry, burdened by $428 billion of debt, was itself dissolved and separated into a transport ministry and a state-owned railways corporation. So that took a little bit of the steam out of that whole China's high-speed rail as a shining example of the future thing. But all that is behind us now. High-speed rail is back, baby. That's because China is considering building a high-speed rail line to the U.S. Mind blown. And I know it's true because I read it in the People's Daily. This rail line would start in northeast China, run through Siberia, cross a 125-mile underwater tunnel under the Bering Strait, then travel through Alaska and Canada before reaching the continental U.S. And it will only take 2 days to travel from Beijing to the U.S. instead of the 12 hours by plane. Now this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of wacky ambition and complete disregard for the reality of the natural environment that brought us things like the Three Gorges Dam, the world's largest hydropower project that displaced 1.3 million people and is also causing landslides, drought, and earthquakes. Not to mention the South-North Water Transfer Project, where the government is planning to drill almost 2,000 miles of tunnels and canals through places like the Himalayas to move water from the Yangtze River and its tributaries in the south up to the north, based on a single statement made by expert hydrologist Chairman Mao. The good news is the high-speed rail line from China to the U.S. is only one of 4 high-speed rail projects currently in the works. China also wants to build a train that runs from London to China, Kunming to Singapore. I'm not sure what the route for this one is. I would imagine it goes through Laos, Thailand, and Burma, places that all have great relations with China, and Germany to Urumqi. I've always wanted to go from Germany to Urumqi. And what with that lunar rover up there, fingers crossed about that Beijing moon rail line. But it seems like some in China are feeling a little defensive about these ambitious rail projects after hundreds of English-language media outlets picked up the story. So the China Daily published this opinion piece translated from another Chinese state-run media. It acknowledges that the difficulties in capital, technology, geology, engineering, climate, and geopolitics are conceivable. But it says we're missing the bigger picture here. You see, Western forces built the current world order with warships to benefit themselves, which just isn't fair. So now, developing countries will build a new world order with trains, because many countries will have to cooperate to make these high-speed rail lines a reality, and since cooperation between China, Russia, and the U.S. has worked out so well when it comes to, say, the Ukraine, Syria, currency, trade, human rights, anything related to the United Nations, and possibly a few other things, I see no problems with this plan. And cooperation will make things fair, or something. That's right, world peace through China's high-speed rail. Thanks for watching this episode of China Uncensored. What do you think of China's high-speed rail ambitions? Let me know in the comments section below, and be sure to check out the Facebook and Twitter page. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.